What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a quick guide to the rewards in this Spire of the Watcher dungeon in Season 19. And so in the video today, we're going to do a quick overview of everything you can obtain in the new dungeon, which encounters various drops come from, but also a better look at the weapons, the potential perk rolls for all of the guns, the new exotics, and the catalyst for the exotic weapon, collectibles, and everything else you need to know about rewards inside of the dungeon. And so as always, I hope this video is useful guys, and if it is, be sure to get subscribed to the channel to see more Destiny content. But without further delay, let's get into it. And so of course, the new dungeon takes place on Mars. It's a pretty fun dungeon, and it leans heavily into this kind of circuitry mechanic, where we're opening and closing doors, charging cores, and powering our way through the encounters. And of course there's some pretty cool rewards in the dungeon. Initially, the new armor pieces, which are Tex Mechanica, and they come with this cool cowboy theme. Same with the weapons, which are legendary Tex Mechanica variants. Then of course there is the new exotic, which is a much more Warmind themed item. Now in terms of the actual loot table for encounters, the first encounter of the dungeon can drop the Terminus Horizon, a new arc machine gun, as well as the long arm scout rifle, and it can also drop the 7th Seraph carbine auto rifle. So on top of the brand new themed weapons, there's also the return of the 7th Seraph carbine and officer revolver. But also in the first encounter, you can pick up the arms, legs, or helmet from the armor set. And we should add that this dungeon is completely farmable, so you can continue to clear encounters for any of the drops with the exception of the exotic weapon, which has 1 chance per week. And up next, as far as we know, the second encounter can also drop the Terminus Horizon machine gun, but additionally has the chance to drop the 7th Seraph officer revolver, as well as the gauntlets from the armor set, the chest pieces, and class items. And then for the final boss, the featured drops specific to that encounter are the Terminus Horizon machine gun once again, the Liminal Vigil, a new stasis sidearm, as well as the Wilder Flight, which is a new Void grenade launcher, and the Hierarchy of Needs exotic bow. Bear in mind that that is a once per week chance per character. And then the final encounter can also drop legs, chest, and class item, but bear in mind there is an additional drop on the final boss, which essentially allows you to earn anything from the dungeon. So considering how many rewards are actually in the dungeon, and how farmable it is, the specific encounters probably won't be useful until you're after very, very specific rolls of weapons and stuff like that. Another quick thing to mention, not sure if this is standard, but one of my legendary drops inside of the second encounter actually fell off the map, and I was never able to obtain it from the postmaster, so it basically just disappeared entirely. Not sure if that was due to server issues at the time the dungeon was launching, or if it's a risk in general in the dungeon. But just bear in mind, especially in that second encounter where the chest is basically on the edge of a sheer drop, maybe stand right next to it so it doesn't have the chance to drop off the map. Here though, let's talk about weapons. The brand new themed weapons for the dungeon come with the text balanced stock perk, and damaging targets while firing from the hip increases handling, reload speed, and movement speed while aiming down sights. So it's a pretty cool one there. And despite the API not being updated just yet, Josh Hunt from Destiny Sets actually broke down all of the main traits for the weapons and their slots. So if you're curious, the Liminal Vigil, the new stasis sidearm, can get Pugilist, Tunnel Vision, Headstone, Threat Detector, Tap the Trigger, or Perpetual Motion in the first trait slot, with the second trait slot potentially rolling Rangefinder, Quick Draw, Kill Clip, Swashbuckler, Desperado, or Surrounded. So some pretty cool potential rolls on these weapons. When it comes to the long arm, the new scout rifle from the dungeon, the first trait slot can roll Rapid Hit, Wellspring, Under Pressure, Compulsive Reloader, Hipfire Grip, or Subsistence. And then the second perk slot can get Redirection, Adrenaline Junkie, Dragonfly, Opening Shot, High Impact Reserves, or Explosive Payload. So there are some pretty cool combinations for these weapons. The Terminus Horizon machine gun can roll Demolitionist, Dragonfly, Compulsive Reloader, Hipfire Grip, Triple Tap, or Rapid Hit in the first trait slot, with the second slot getting Cascade Point, Volt Shot, Adrenaline Junkie, High Impact Reserves, Wellspring, or Target Lock. And finally the Wilder Flight, which is a new grenade launcher that actually fires 2 rounds at once, which is pretty interesting. And for traits in the first slot, it can get Feeding Frenzy, Autoloading Holster, Repulsor Brace, Danger Zone, Unrelenting, or Demolitionist, and the second slot can get Pugilist, Adrenaline Junkie, Lead from Gold, Frenzy, Vorpal Weapon, or Disruption Break. On top of that, as I mentioned, there is the 7th Seraph Officer Revolver, as well as the Carbine. Don't have info about perks for those just yet, but those are reprised weapons with updated bonuses. Additionally though, in the dungeon there is the Hierarchy of Needs, the new exotic bow, This is a random drop on the final encounter, and once again, you have 1 chance per character per week for this weapon. And the intrinsic trait is Guidance Ring, where precision hits and final blows build a Guidance Ring energy, and then opposing guardians grant additional energy, and at full charge, hip firing creates a Guidance Ring. And then the pairing trait is Apollonic Tangent, and arrows fired through a Guidance Ring release seeking projectiles, which do more damage based on the distance travelled. So it is a very long range bow if you want to use it effectively, but it can also drop with an exotic catalyst. Now the catalyst drops from the master mode of the dungeon. Once again, it's a final encounter thing, and it's protocol emergency scramble, and deploying a guidance ring or striking a target with a seeking projectile improves draw time and reload speed for a moderate duration. So pretty fun exotic right there. Let me know if you've had the fortune to pick it up. There's also a Tex Mechanica themed exotic Spire for the dungeon we can pick up as well, called Into the Sunset. And on top of that, there are a bunch of voice recordings, a total of 6 of them in the dungeon, which can be collected if you're working towards the title. So I'll link a video down below with all of the locations that you can pick those up in. The only other thing I failed to mention about the armor is that in the master mode, you can get artifice versions of those armor pieces. And so some of the stuff is similar to what we've seen in dungeons previously. And for today, guys, that is everything that we have to break down about the rewards. So, as always, I hope this video has been useful. And if it has, be sure to get subscribed to the channel so I can keep you posted with more Destiny content. Good luck getting the drops you want from the dungeon. But for today, thank you for tuning in. Be sure once again to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Destiny content. But otherwise, I hope you guys have an awesome day.
Clever incision by the witness. A multi-front attack. Sabotage us, glean knowledge.